Hi everyone! In today's news spotlight, we'll take a look at the US electoral process. How does the US pick a president? How does the US Electoral College system work? When will we know the results of the election? My name is Angeline and this is the Daily Watch. It is not only Americans who have a lot at stake in this year's presidential election. Countries around the world are watching the race and trying to determine what the outcome will mean for them. So far, more than 90 million people have already voted, leaving the country on course for its highest turnout in over 100 years. If polls are to be believed, Biden is on his way to win in a landslide, but with America's controversial Electoral College system, which determines the winner rather than the result of the popular vote, anything can happen. Trump still has a narrow path towards winning a second term. How does the US Electoral College system work? Unlike many other countries, presidential elections in the US are not decided by who wins the most votes. Instead, electoral colleges in individual states determine the outcome in a controversial winner-takes-all system. An electoral college is a group of people, electors, who represent each of the US 50 states and vote for a president. Each state is assigned a number of electors based on their population. California, for example, has 55, while Wyoming has 3. Electors will typically back whichever candidate wins the most votes in their state. So whoever wins the popular vote in California will get 55 electoral college votes to add to his or her tally. In order to win, a presidential candidate needs 270 or more electoral college votes. In total, there are 538 electors, which corresponds to the number of U.S. representatives, plus the number of U.S. senators, plus 3 additional electors for the capital city, Washington, D.C. There are only 2 main political parties in the United States, the left-leaning Democratic Party and the conservative Republican Party. Most states consistently vote one way or the other. This leaves just a handful of swing states where the vote can go either way. Candidates tend to focus the majority of their campaigning on these key areas. There are typically just 6 or 7 of them in any given election year, and many are considered battlegrounds. Why is the Electoral College controversial? The Electoral College gives small states much more power in selecting the president than their population warrants compared to large states. For instance, California has 55 electoral votes against Wyoming's 3, even though the population of the former is roughly 68 times that of the latter. That's why you can win the popular vote but lose the election, something that occurred in 2000 when George W. Bush received 271 electoral votes, yet Al Gore got 500,000 more votes nationally. In the 2016 presidential election, Trump was up against Hillary Clinton and she won the popular vote by nearly 3 million more votes. However, Trump received the majority of votes in the Electoral College, gaining 304 electoral votes in total, while Clinton had 227. When will we know the results of the election? Americans are accustomed to knowing who won on election night because news organizations project winners based on partial counts, not because the counting is actually completed that quickly. These race calls mean candidate A is far enough ahead that given the number of outstanding ballots and the regions those ballots are coming from, candidate B would realistically be unable to close the gap. However, officials warn there's a good chance we won't know who won the presidential election on election night this time. More people than ever are voting by mail this year due to the pandemic, and mail ballots take longer to count than ballots cast at polling places. We'll have to wait and see how the election day unfolds today. What are your thoughts on the US Electoral College? Do you think it's a fair system? Who do you think will win the US elections? Let us know in the comment section below. That's it for today. If you liked today's video or learned anything new, press the like button. Subscribe and ring the bell to get the latest news from the Daily Watch. See you next time.